Today we're going to talk about one of the most remarkable individual performances that we will probably ever see in Valorant. In fact, what Martin did over the span of 2 days will probably never be beat. Because you see, Martin played in back-to-back best-of-5s over the span of 2 days, and this is how he did. In his first game, he actually lost against BBL, but he did still manage to drop 106 kills, breaking the EMEA record, and was only 5 off the overall global record set by Kang in Champs in 2024. And in actual fact, in this game, if this was a best of 3, just counting the first 3 maps, Martin actually would have broken the best of 3 global kill record as well. But then he came back the very next day, played in a best of 5 against Fnatic, and went just a little bit better. This time shattering the best of 5 kill record with 126, therefore beating it by 15. And overall, that meant that he dropped 232 kills in just 2 days. And in the meantime, he went plus 68 as well over the course of those 2 games. So today what we're going to do is take a look at how Martin managed to do it. But whilst I was going through the VODs to look at this video, and in particular focusing on the rounds where Martin got, his 3Ks and his 4Ks, surprisingly, he didn't get an ace. He actually only got 2 4Ks as well, but he did get 23 3Ks. But when I went through those rounds of, perhaps the rounds where he got the most impact, I started noticing something, and that is that a remarkable amount of those rounds, in fact, almost half of those rounds that Martin is having an outsized impact, are rounds where he ults. Now, if you're like me, you might have found that a little bit surprising, because when you think of a Yoru ult, I tend to think more of like a supportive ult for the rest of your team, like this one that Martin does against Fnatic on Split.
To confirm the backlines of the Gentlemates.
Ults on both sides. Martin's coming in now, trying to make space for Beepo.
It's caught in the C's.
Where did that just go? The C's? Yeah, you're right. Oh, but what another shot from Glyph coming in. Martin now getting involved. Can't see a damn thing here. But they're flying back on the site. They want this one done. They still want that lifeline. Vekash and Crash, he's trying to deny, but it's all on Vekash here. A monumental performance from Martin. Who else?
So even in this round, we actually see Martin get good value after the fact that he's Yoru ulted. But this is what I more picture when I'm thinking Yoru ult, right? I'm thinking, we're Yoru ulting to set up my Raze, who also has an ult. Now, in this instance, Bippo actually gets seized and actually misses the Raze ult. But from that position, Martin then is able to get out of his ult and also flash for his teammates, which then makes Boaster a bit of a free kill. So, I mean, you see here the flash from Martin absolutely destroys Boaster. They manage to win the round, right? And this is what I picture when I think of most Yoru ults. However, it's very clear when you watch these VODs that Gentlemates and the way that they use these Yoru ults a lot of the time are very, very different, and Martin is insanely good at them. And Martin's Yoru ults can basically be split into 3 different categories, but the first one I think is by far the most impressive and cool, so we're going to take a look at that, and that is combining the Yoru ult with an Astra ult. Mates basically play Astra on every single map, and the way that they use these 2 ults together guarantees them a kill. Let's watch for our first example here against BBL on Abyss.
Easy, right? Going to depend on these ults invested. Beepo going to do what he can. Good tag indeed. Loiter down on 30 here. Paranoia is still going to do what it can, but the cover he played from is perfect. Martin put it on.
So these sorts of rounds are nothing new. Funnily enough, it was kind of KC with Martin who regularly kind of did this at the start of 2024, and they were kind of, one of the first teams that we really saw kind of abuse these 2 ults together. But you'll see that the mates have basically perfected this, right? I mean, this instance, we get a good example. So for those of you who don't know what the combo is, basically, you put an Astra ult up here, your Yoru ult comes out of the ult on this side in a little corner just there. These guys cannot hear the Yoru come out of the ult, so they don't know that he's there. And then obviously the Yoru is just instantly behind you and manages, to pick up free kills, as we can see just there. So that's the combo, and that's how it works, and mates are extremely good at it. And it's not hyperbole to say that without these Astra Yoru combo ults, mates might not have actually gone to Santiago. I mean, they very well should have lost to Fnatic, because in this round, for instance, it's round 23, they're down 12-10, and they have this Yoru Astra, but you can see that the money isn't great. But again, one of those combos is going to just win the round for mates as time gets low.
Can he do anything? Can he deny?
Oh, this is such a weird spot now.
Any of this flashed up, blinded, forced further away. A great reveal. They're already there, though. Going to take one down with it. Boaster stands tall. Out for the Gentlemates. Not out of it yet. Martin!
Oh my God!
And Fnatic in particular really struggled against Martin with his Yoru ults, and I think one of the reasons for that is we know that Fnatic like to run the clock down really low, and what that means is when you get to these kind of situations, right, and the clock's running down low, you have to plant the spike, all of that, there's a lot going on, it means that Martin just completely gets lost in the shuffle, right? You're all so focused on getting the spike down and owning the site that basically probably none of them realize, you know, that Martin is just here. They think that this Brim ult is probably good enough to save them, but Martin is already behind them, just running at them with a bucky. I mean, look at this guy. Look at him go. And he ends up with a 3k, and they actually end up winning that map and obviously end up winning the series. But the thing is, it's not always just the same thing from Martin when it comes to these Yoru Astra combos, as we'll see now on round 7 of Split.
The list now for mates in terms of comfortable decisions to be made at the start of the round. Eyes on Martin, though, as an opportunity here, forcing the TP from Kayak, and will take the space.
Yeah, God, the exchange between these two is so
pocket.
technical. Martin has managed to find a way to fight forward, though. Vekash got...
So again, the value that he gets from this ult is unbelievable, right? And the way that they structure this thing, because not only is he giving them the info of where these players are, and then you get the Astra ult coming in, but this time he actually sends the TP here, right? So he doesn't actually go into this pocket initially. Initially, he shows himself, you know, and he gets the information for his team, you know, allows them to stun Kayak, pushes him back off the angle, then comes out of the ult, you know, starts shooting some bullets, then goes into the pocket, right? So he has actually shown himself to not be in this pocket if you're these Fnatic players at this point, right? And again, he's done it at just a time where I think Alpha is just ahead of the wall here, and so he actually, you know, doesn't hear it either. No one here on Fnatic hears that he's TP'd into this corner, and so what that means is he then just comes out, free kill again, right? And again, when you're these players and you're Alpha here, I mean, now we just got Kayak staring at him. Alpha now has to deal with potentially someone on his right here as well, and all these players flooding onto the site. You see the value that he manages to get there, not just kind of the initial support Yoru ult, but then also getting into a position to get kills and basically win the round for mates. And you might just think, well, after a few times, does it not just get obvious when mates put down an Astra with a little corner in it that Martin's going to end up there at some point, so just go into that corner and just aggro him when he comes out of the ult? And you might think so, but timing that is harder than you might think.
Provided full poster, but not necessarily tangible way to invest that. Fragment will buy some time here to make sure that Martin can't be actually the pocket.
He's got it, and he's got a body as well. Flash through once and twice. Crashies has to respect it. The defuse is happening as we speak. Boaster, he's got a cubby of his own. Hold on. But you got to check. Ah, it's too little.
Of course, one of the main strengths of this as well is there really isn't enough space for like multiple of you to go and aggro him in this corner. It probably does have to be somewhat alone. And again, if you're Vekash in the spot, you know, Boaster maybe is giving you the information there that, yeah, he's come out of this ult on this side, but as we see, that is no guarantee that you're going to get that kill. And Martin, again, in a 4v2, plays it smart, realizes all he has to do is be a distraction at this point and let them stick the spike, because they already get half off of Martin's distraction, then they're just sticking it, and it's a pretty free win there for mate. Again, just comboing these two ults together. And so I know, again, what you're all thinking. Well, TMV, someone's going to anti-strap mates, and they're just going to stand in the corners of where they commonly put these Astra ults. So what do mates do then when Martin can't get in the corner? Well, let's take a look.
As just noted here, the util not removed just yet. Big investment coming through. A pocket to play from, and
oh yeah, there seems to be an answer for basically whatever mates want to do, right? They have ults where they just instantly go into it. They have ults where he comes out of it and then TPs into it. There's, you know, people have tried running at him, you know, when he gets out of the ult, didn't work. And if you are in the corner where he wants to go, he's gonna have a shorty and he's going to just kill you, because we're gonna see in a second as well, one of the other main ways that he uses this Yoru ult is abusing the shorty and just running at you with it on his own. Because again, if we stick on that map of Corrode against Fnatic, I mean, I've already shown you multiple Yoru ult rounds here, but I'll show you another one, because in this one, he's going to end up ulting over towards A here, is Martin with the spike, and eventually he's going to see Boaster just on his lonesome just here, right? And again, this time they don't have the Astra ult to combo with it, but guess what? He sees Boaster looking this way, shooting this way, and this is just free, easy pickings for Martin.
Out of everyone. Okay, great
shut down
from
here.
Bippo.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And now there's problems for Fnatic.
We get another great example of this in the game against BBL on Haven, and the thing that makes Martin so good at these ults is his ability, I think, to recognize the situation and what needs to be done in each situation. Should he just play for a supportive Yoru ult, or should he go for kills like this one? And you see that in this example, he just picks the perfect thing to do.
Mini in a position to potentially catch some steps, but has the support engaged. They might explore this.
Ooh, the timing now. Mini does get checked on, but he gets away with it. Look at the counter swing from Garage. Martin waited on that contact, but they do suffer some casualties. It wasn't without loss of life. So, oh my god, he's trying to hunt him down!
This is outrageously good decision making from Martin, right? I mean, this is just unbelievable what he's able to do here, because they're going for this aggro playoff Mini's contact, right? So you got Mini, he's pushed down in mid here. He's going to get contact to these guys, and then these guys are going to swing. Now, the thing is, it goes okay for mates, right? They end up in a good situation off this, but it doesn't go perfectly, right? Like, 2 of their players do die. He hits some nice shots here with the flash as well and manages to kill the Rock there. And now he retreats back into Garage, but now it's still a 3v2. He makes this decision to then go on Yoru ult, right? Even though they kind of know where they are, but this is, I mean, is just amazing, right? Lover's Rock, he sees him here, and Lover's Rock, despite Lover's Rock, by the way, only being a Yoru player himself and having only played Yoru during kickoff, no one thinks like this. You know, no one thinks like, oh, I can just get out the ult now and just win the round because you're trying to pick up the spike. And then still be able to TP away, right? Like, most Yorus in this spot do not do that. They get these 2 kills and they just TP back at this point, right? They just go, oh, I've done my job, back to C, we'll play a 3v2. Thing is, 2v3, still very losable, right? The 3v1 where the spike is down, though, because you Yoru ulted and killed the guy, that's a lot less losable, right? This is a round-winning play, and it's just so brilliant. It's just so amazing from Martin. But the thing is, Martin will sometimes find himself in situations where they don't have an Astral to combo with it, or he doesn't find someone to, you know, get a free shorty kill from or whatever, and it's more of kind of a generic Yoru ult that you might see other teams use. But even in those situations, he's incredible with it, as we'll see here from round number 5 against BBL. So what they're going to go for in this round, mates, is basically a sort of A split with him, you know, running all the way through B and into A heaven. Right, and there's no one in A heaven, and, you know, there's no Astral here for them to abuse either. So they get this first kill on Glyph, and he's now away. Right, and here he goes, and he's going to see some people, right? He's going to see the Omen here. He probably saw the Yoru just there, and they're coming onto the site. But now he's just going to get out of the ult here in heaven, right? But now take a look. I mean, these guys are looking around for him here. They don't really know where he's gone. They've lost him in the shuffle. But take a look at his timing here and his decision-making again as his Neon is about to enter in.
Good read, does get outdone though. Beeper does take him down. Sight now maybe under pressure. This is the first fight back from Gentle Mates. Going to get a little lost in the sauce, but the paranoia is fantastic. Good fought from Martin, good trade.
So if you take a look at Martin here, some of you might be like, well, he's actually just baiting. And he kind of is baiting in a sense, right? I mean, these guys get confused initially, but he kind of waits for this first fight to happen. So he kind of waits until Lover's Rock has kind of taken that fight, and now he's jumping out, right? And the fact that he jumps out, he's able actually to get this kill, right? But the thing is, you might be like, oh, this is just him baiting. You know, what's so impressive about that? But when you're in a 4v3 and all you've got to do is take the site, then he's in a perfect position and makes the right decision here, right? He doesn't rush. If he just jumps out and dies, and then these guys can just, you know, fight forward, and maybe they lose the round, right? But the way that he played it, they almost had no chance of losing the round, right? Because he's guaranteed a free kill after they have, you know, directed their attention back the other way. He knows that, and so he essentially just plays it perfectly again. He plays the situation as it should be played for what situation he's in. And another great example of this is round 19 on Pearl.
He's going to take that as the goer. Yeah. What's he going to see from this, though? Oh!
Big win from Kreven.
That's massive. And now they're certainly on the right side of the map. They are surrounded on this. Martin trying to hold some space, but he is in the trenches. Comes out swinging.
So again, this is a Yoru where he ends up in quite a precarious position. Right, he's ended up in really not the best of spots. He has ended up in an Astra smoke, which you might have noticed, even when they don't have Astral, he commonly does end up in a smoke, and he does see multiple people there, but he hears the Yoru TP behind him here, so instantly knows, like, the person I just saw there is now gone, so that's not a free kill. spams, but again, just kind of survives here long enough, just waits around here long enough, now comes back out with his shorty in tow as his team is entering the site. So take a look at this timing again here, right? As this Neo wall is coming up and these guys are coming in, now he perfectly times this to come this way as Rose is trying to swing and stop this. I mean, again, look at the timing of him doing this. It's unbelievable, right? Just as everyone is kind of focused this way, he's now got a free kill on Rose and manages to get them back into this round, right? It's just unbelievable, like the level of decision making that fast in that chaotic of a moment somehow still is perfect. And look, we have seen a lot of bad Yoru ults. I think particularly this year. I think somehow it got worse this year than it was last year, even though everyone's been playing so much Yoru. Somehow the ults haven't been great, but when you look at Martin, and there are obviously a lot of other things I could show you because he got so many kills in these games, but I think really the ult rounds were so impressive, right? There are so many rounds in here of big impacts from Martin when he has this ult, and of course he's fragging so much that he's constantly getting ults as well, and those rounds for mates are incredibly high potential rounds for them and incredibly difficult to stop, as hopefully now you can see.